Chapter 1091. I told you weren't good at lasting, right? You dare to laugh at me? He Pingsheng. I'll fuck your grandma. Go to hell. Boom. That day, Daois Dao was so enraged that he brandished his golden knife, ready to kill He Pingsheng. However, he suddenly remembered that swords were not allowed during the competition, so he forced himself to put the golden sword away, despite the risk of his internal energy retaliating. Puff, 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 puff. Before He Pingsheng could even make a move, this guy coughed up several mouthfuls of blood. After all, he had just unleashed his immortal energy, and then forcibly pulled it back into his body, which was tantamount to attacking himself. This scene made even the elder referee chuckle. No immortal artifacts allowed, or you'll be blasted down. Understood. The golden knife Taoist took a deep breath, then spat out 2 mouthfuls of golden divine blood before looking at He Pingsheng and saying, Good lad, not bad plan, I almost fell for it. If I had landed that strike, you would have won. Excellent, excellent, excellent plan. I'm finding it harder to outsmart you when it comes to thinking. He Pingsheng smiled. That's right, he wasn't so bored as to deliberately mock others. The "you're not good at lasting" comment was just to provoke this big guy into slashing down with his sword. Then, he wouldn't have to fight, he could just win without even lifting a finger. Unfortunately, the kid eventually realized what was happening and didn't fall for it. Well, if you haven't fallen for their tricks, then you should fight. That's more difficult. Defeating Qian Dao wouldn't be difficult. For He Pingsheng, it would only take 1 or 2 moves at most. But defeating him would be absurd, and my own strength would be exposed. The key question is, how do we fight? To defeat the enemy in one fell swoop, or to take it slow and leisurely? Forget it. I absolutely cannot defeat him in one move. Take your time. You son of a bitch, you've got a lot of tricks up your sleeve. I'll see how I deal with you. Hu Liu's heaven-opening fist. Die. Boom. Without any magical artifacts, Qian Dao threw a punch directly at He Pingsheng. Kid, do you know why this move is called Hu Liu's heaven-opening fist? Although Qian Dao is unreliable in his words, he is absolutely fearless when it comes to fighting. A single strike could shake the very void. He Pingsheng could even feel the space shaking. After all, this guy is ranked in the teens among the inner disciples of Red Lotus Immortal Valley. Although he is not a prodigy, he is still exceptionally talented. He Pingsheng dared not be negligent. A beam of light suddenly shot out from under his feet, instantly increasing his speed 5-fold. Before the punch could land, He Pingsheng dodged it. I don't know. Bang! The heavenly blade's fist slammed directly into the ground. A large, round crater instantly appeared on the ground. Immediately afterwards, the heavenly blade gave He Pingsheng no chance to catch his breath. The immortal energy within its body surged forth, transforming into a golden longsword phantom in front of him. The long sword suddenly expanded to 100 feet and slashed down at He Pingsheng. Because my father's name is Hu Liu, and this move was created by him personally. Boom! A surge of metallic energy exploded in the void, causing He Pingsheng's clothes to flap loudly and his hair to fly wildly. This time, He Pingsheng did not dodge. Instead, he activated his spiritual power, circulating his qi and blood and mobilizing the strength of his muscles to throw a punch. A Tenjong-sized phantom fist materialized and clashed with the golden long sword. Then, a violent energy, carrying sand and stones, rushed outwards. He Pingsheng did not use his full strength in this attack, he only wanted to fight the heavenly Dao to a standstill. Qian Dao leaped into the void and shouted, "Good lad, you're actually pretty interesting, come on." Golden snake dance. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Earth produces metal. From the ground below, countless golden, snake-like rays of light shot out and flew towards He Pingsheng. He Pingsheng dared not delay and immediately activated his fire attribute technique to condense a fire attribute shield, firmly protecting his body. Fire overcomes metal. The two exchanged words back and forth, and soon enough time had passed to burn half an incense stick. After half an incense stick's time, the outcome was still undecided. The key point is that it's impossible to see who has the upper hand. It's just a matter of continuing to fight. Of the 10 arenas in the same batch, the other 9 have already determined the winners and losers. The key point is that others have been waiting for them for almost half an incense stick's time. Holy crap, this kid's amazing. They actually fought back and forth with Chen Dao, who is ranked 14th, without being at a disadvantage. No wonder he was able to kill Jing Lei in one move, he's really that powerful. But he's only at the 9th level of the human immortal stage. If he reaches the 12th level, I'm afraid senior brother Chen Dao will definitely not be his match. What's this person's name again? He Pingsheng, right? TSK. He Pingsheng is very strong, but is still a bit lacking compared to senior sister Lu Xiaozi. That's right, someone said. Back when senior sister Lu was at the 9th level of the human immortal realm, she was already the number 1 among the inner disciples, invincible throughout the inner sect. He Pingsheng is now at the 9th level, exactly the same as senior sister Lu's cultivation level back then, but he is only on par with Chen Dao, who is ranked 14th. There is indeed a significant gap between him and senior sister Lu. Isn't that obvious? Senior sister Lu is ranked 92nd on the heavenly stele of the solid Dao of Chenkuan Immortal City from ancient times to the present. How can he Pingsheng compare? What does he have to compare her to? Let's wait. Before we knew it, another incense stick's time had passed. Before we knew it, half an hour had passed. The two continued their back-and-forth battle, neither gaining the upper hand. We can't wait any longer, said the elder of the martial arts academy that day. Let the rest of you continue your matches, and let those two fight. Actually, there are only 10 people left, so 5 arenas are enough. Result. After the 10 people had determined their victors and losers, He Pingsheng and Chen Dao continued to fight. Damn it. Chen Dao was on the verge of a breakdown. He Pingsheng, why are you like a stone, aren't you tired? You did this on purpose, didn't you? He Pingsheng carefully received Chen Dao's attacks, dodging and parrying, each time perfectly neutralizing the force of Chen Dao's blows. Senior brother Chen Dao, this is called a worthy opponent. However, I think you should just admit defeat. You don't last long. Upon hearing this, Chen Dao's face turned pale. He Pingsheng, are you trying to provoke me? Hehehe. You fucking succeeded. You successfully enraged me. Now, let's see how I deal with you. Heavenly Blade Fury. Slash. A 50-foot-long golden sword phantom successfully materialized, stirring up the immortal energy in the void before slashing towards He Pingsheng. He Pingsheng said, it seems that senior brother is not going to make it. I remember that when he used Heavenly Blade Fury last time, the blade shadow was 100 feet long. How come it is only 50 feet long now? See? I told you couldn't last long. Chapter 1092 ranked 10th, damn you. I'm going to kill you. He Pingsheng, even if the Heavenly King himself came today, I would still kill you. You won't survive. The enraged Heavenly Blade continuously condensed its immortal energy, launching relentless attacks on He Pingsheng, one move after another, like a violent storm. Although the attack was relentless and it seemed that He Pingsheng had almost no chance to fight back, in reality, Chen Dao's attack power was getting weaker and weaker. Soon, it ran out of fuel and went out. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. After a series of attacks, Chen Dao waved his hand as if he had entered a sage mode. Brother, how about we take a break before we fight again? Let me catch my breath. You fucking. Stop it. Your maternal grandmother. Puff. Stop hitting me. Stop fucking hitting me. Stop it for a second. Brother, let me catch my breath. Just like Chen Dao before, He Pingsheng didn't use any fancy moves. He just kept punching Chen Dao's body. Chen Dao's internal magic power was exhausted, and he was relying entirely on his physical body to support him. At this moment, He Pingsheng was also like a lamp that had run out of oil. During the fight, he no longer had the ability to absorb and release immortal energy, but was instead supported by the power of his blood and qi. Punch after punch, every punch lands hard. Soon, the Heavenly Blade Taoist's face became bruised and swollen. I surrender. I fucking surrender. You pervert. That's insane. Wah. This dignified man, Chen Dao, actually covered his face with his hands and burst into tears. He Pingxing took a deep breath and strolled out of the formation. He Pingxing wins. He Pingxing glanced at the audience below the stage, and almost everyone's eyes were focused on him. Because the other competitions had already ended. Awesome. This guy is really amazing. He outlasted the Heavenly Blade and made it surrender. His strength should not be underestimated. He can be considered a prodigy. Yes, it's impressive that a 9th-level cultivator could defeat a 12th-level cultivator. However, judging from his last move, he seems to be exhausted. That's right, I'm exhausted. This is troublesome. Without a high-grade Heavenly Spirit Pill to restore his Dantian, how will he cope with the 3rd round of the competition? Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. This is better than... That bastard, he actually has a Heavenly Spirit Pill, and a top-grade one at that. TSK, TSK, TSK. This. When he Pingxing took out a top-grade Heavenly Spirit Pill and swallowed it in one gulp, everyone in the entire venue erupted in cheers. Absolutely amazing. The highest grade Heavenly Spirit Pill is so good that it's no exaggeration to say it can save your life. Alright, now that we've narrowed down the 55 participants in the 2nd round, please head to the main hall again to randomly draw a number to determine your opponents for the 3rd round. There are 55 people in the 3rd round. Number 55 received a bye and advanced directly. Go! Everyone rushed into the main hall and drew their own number plates. He Pingxing also drew one. Junior brother He, what number did you draw? Lu Xiaozi asked as she came to his side. He Pingxing took out the number plate and showed it to Lu Xiaozi. Lu Xiaozi immediately covered her mouth and laughed, saying, "Congratulations, junior brother He, you've advanced directly to the next round." That's right, He Pingxing was lucky. He drew number 55. Number 55 gets a bye and advances directly to the next round. This means He Pingxing has directly entered the top 28. Next, I could leisurely watch other people's matches. About half an hour later, all 27 matches were over, and a total of 28 winners, including He Pingxing, were determined. The 4th round of the draw shall now begin. He Pingxing entered the main hall again. There won't be any bye this time. What number? Lu Xiaozi leaned closer again. He Pingxing said, "Number 1. Lu Xiaozi looked at the rest of the people in the hall and called out, "Who is number 2? A woman dressed in a purple robe walked over and said, "Senior Sister Lu, what's wrong?" "I'm number 2. Lu Xiaozi's face immediately lit up with a smile, and she said, "Oh, it's Junior Sister Mu Ran. It's all right, your opponent is He Pingxing." Junior Sister Mu Ran looked at He Pingxing, her face immediately darkening, and said, "I really can't fight this one. I'm ranked outside the top 50 in the sect. It's pure luck that I made it into the top 28. I can't beat junior brother He this time. I might as well just admit defeat." Mu Ran immediately announced her defeat. On one hand, she did feel that she couldn't beat He Pingxing. After all, He Pingxing was the one who defeated the Heavenly Knife Daoist. On the other hand, since we can't beat her, let's give Senior Sister Lu some face and just surrender. Judging from Senior Sister Lu's expression, she's probably interested in this He Pingxing. Why wouldn't I do it? And just like that, He Pingxing was lifted into the top 14 again. After the top 14, in the 5th round of the draw, He Pingxing drew Zhong Zhixian. Zhong Zhixian was ranked in the top 5, so He Pingxing surrendered immediately. No fight. As a result, 7 of the 14 people won and 7 lost. The 7 people in the losers bracket were competing for 3 spots. He Pingxing was lucky and drew a relatively weak disciple. He pretended to fight for a while, then defeated the disciple and successfully entered the top 10. The top 10 will then compete to determine the final ranking, and the sect rewards will be given according to the ranking. He Pingxing fought his way through, but either surrendered or was defeated, eventually ranking last, 10th. This guy is incredibly lucky. That's right. Along the way, only Chen Dao is somewhat powerful. Apart from Qian Dao, he hasn't encountered any decent opponents. Oh well, I was just lucky. This is too lucky. They got a bye in the third round and advanced. Everyone else surrendered in the fourth round, and they can still advance even if they lose in the fifth round. Ha ha ha. Don't be envious. He's not strong enough. When we get to Chenkuan Immortal City, he'll have his comeuppance. Don't worry. Amidst the murmurs of the crowd, the patriarch, dressed in a bright red robe, finally appeared. The patriarch came to present awards to the top 10 disciples. He Pingxing ranked 10th, so he received the least reward, only 500 low-grade immortal crystals. The key is not the reward, but the quota for participating in the competition for Chenkuan Immortal City. He Pingxing. After the award ceremony, the Red Lotus ancestor looked at He Pingxing's solitary figure on the Xianxia Gardens grounds, frowned and asked, "What's going on? You're having a competition here, and your master isn't here either. Where are Su Huang and the others? Why are you alone?" He Pingxing's face showed a bitter expression. Cough cough cough. "Grandmaster, my master is in seclusion." Seclusion. Honglien immediately looked displeased. Why would you need to go into seclusion during a sect competition? Even if it's a seclusion, can't all 4 of them go into seclusion? You don't even have anyone to keep you company. Tell me honestly, do they usually bully you and not play with you? The old ancestor looked at He Pingxing with bright eyes. He Pingxing's face fell even more. "I didn't bully you, but it's true that you won't include me in your group." Chapter 1093, Heavenly Life Transformation Method No. He Pingxing quickly replied, reporting to the ancestor, "My master is really very good to me. He definitely wouldn't bully me. Besides, don't you know your own disciple? My master is not the kind of person who bullies his disciples. What do you think?" The Crimson Lotus ancestor's expression softened somewhat, and she said, "What you say makes sense. Among all my disciples, your master is the most upright and straightforward. He would disdain doing such things." Enough. Enough. Since this seclusion is so important, it must mean we've reached some extraordinary juncture. Perhaps, I'm about to break through to the celestial immortal realm. Let's go. I'll go too, let's take a look together. Pingxing, you're coming with me. He Pingxing's face fell again. Good heavens, if you go over there now, then. What's wrong? Seeing He Pingxing's unwilling expression, the Red Lotus ancestor asked, "Is there something amiss?" He Pingxing said, "There's nothing wrong with it, it's just that my master has entered a critical stage of seclusion and is most afraid of being disturbed." "Don't worry," said the Crimson Lotus ancestor. "I know what I'm doing and won't disturb him." "Sneaking around like that, are you lying, kid? Stop talking, come with me." After saying that, the Red Lotus ancestor stretched out his only remaining right hand, grabbed He Pingxing's hair, and carried him directly into the sky. Then he turned into a beam of light and headed towards Xianxia Garden. He Pingxing was in great pain. "Grandmaster, I can manage on my own. Can you please stop grabbing my hair like that? My hairstyle is all messed up." "Oh." Ancestor Red Lotus quickly let go and said, "Let's go." A few breaths later, the two landed in front of Sun Yan's main hall. A series of crackling sounds came from inside the house, interspersed with the sounds of arguing. He Pingxing quickly cupped his hands in greeting and lowered his head, but his eyes involuntarily glanced upwards, looking quite furtive. The Red Lotus ancestor's divine sense had already penetrated deep into the main hall. At this moment, her face was extremely dark. She gritted her teeth and said, "You, He Pingxing, no wonder you were blocking me from both sides. Here. Are you afraid I'll come over and protecting your master?" Okay. What a fine master and apprentice. Come on, come inside with me. I'd like to see if playing cards is so important that the disciple won't even participate in the competition. She pulled He Pingxing into the main hall. The 4 people playing cards didn't even look up. Instead, they greeted each other as they played. The 4th brother is back. Is the competition over? Sun Yan rubbed the dominoes in her hand vigorously, then her eyes lit up, and she slammed the dominoes on the table with a bang. Hey! I won! That guy! As she spoke, Sun Yan looked up and glanced at the screen. It's okay if you don't look, but once you do, you'll be so scared you'll almost wet yourself. Thump. This fellow knelt directly before the Crimson Lotus ancestor. Master, why have you come? Honglian snorted coldly. You've been in seclusion for a good time. When I asked He Pingsheng why you weren't at the competition, this kid even covered for you, saying you were in seclusion. Okay. You're just going to go into seclusion like this? Sun Yan quickly stood up and said, Master, I'm just playing around for a little while. I've only been playing for a few days. I don't care if you play cards, said the Red Lotus ancestor. Why aren't you going to your disciples' important competition? Sun Yan said, what's the point of going? He won't even make it into the top 10 anyway. To be honest, Master, I'm afraid of losing face. Sun Yan, can't stand it. Oh. Honglian sneered again and asked, fine, we'll leave you're not going for now, but let me ask you something. It seems you don't know your disciple at all. What kind of techniques have you been teaching him? As she spoke, Honglian pointed her fair finger at He Pingsheng. Sun Yan was stunned for a while, then said, cultivation technique? I passed on my sword intent to him. Honglian asked, what about the immortal techniques? Have you passed them on? Have you passed on the immortal techniques? The Crimson Lotus ancestor showed no respect to Sun Yan and continued to press for answers. Sun Yan chuckled, Master, I haven't had time yet, have I? Honglian then asked, what kind of spiritual root does your disciple have? Is it compatible with yours? If it's not a good match, I can still teach him one or two immortal techniques and arts. Sun Yan's face darkened. This seems to be a wood spiritual root. No, it's a fire spiritual root. He looked at He Pingsheng with a questioning gaze. Hopefully, He Pingsheng will step in to help. He Pingsheng understood and quickly stepped forward, saying, Master, I told you last time that it's a 5-element spiritual root. Oh, right. Sun Yan said, I remember now, Master. This kid has the 5-element spiritual root. Honglian stopped asking Sun Yan questions. Because she's not stupid, after asking those questions, she already knows the answer perfectly well. Good boy. Honglian reached out and patted He Pingsheng's head. I'm sorry you've had to suffer, having such an unreliable master. Tell me, what spiritual root do you cultivate? I'll teach you a set of immortal techniques and methods. The opportunity has arrived. He Pingsheng's eyes immediately lit up, and he looked at Honglian and said, Grandmaster, is anything all right? Honglian nodded. Anything I have, I can give to you. Very well, thank you, Ancestor. He Pingsheng said, this disciple would like to ask you, Ancestor, if you could grant me the immortal technique of longevity with heaven and earth. I wonder if that is possible. He Pingsheng had long coveted the immortal technique of living as long as heaven and earth. Damn it, after using it, it can actually kill people of higher levels. That was awesome. Although it only grants you 1,000 years of lifespan after use, you really need to use this thing in crucial moments. For example, even though I only have 1,000 years of life left, if I break through that barrier, won't my lifespan return? Or perhaps, by strengthening it with that treasure-gathering basin, this drawback could be eliminated? Are you sure you want to cultivate? Honglian stared at He Pingsheng. He Pingsheng said, yes, Grandmaster, this disciple is certain that I will cultivate. All right. Honglian said, everyone avoids my technique like the plague, even my own disciples don't want to learn it. I'm afraid our ancestral heritage will be lost, so I wanted to pass it on to them, but they don't want it. Now look what you've done, you're actually asking me for it. All right. This is the cultivation method for the blood transformation heavenly art, which grants immortality to heaven and earth. Take it. After saying that, Honglian gave He Pingsheng a red jade slip and then drifted away. He Pingsheng also bid farewell to his master and returned to his main hall. The first thing to do is to strengthen it. First, throw the red jade slip into the treasure basin, then stare at it intently. Once the jade slip was copied into 2 copies, He Pingsheng quickly took out 1 copy. The remaining portion will be further strengthened. 3 days later, the red jade slip was completely enhanced. Take it out and take a look. Name: Heavenly Extreme Longevity Transformation Method. Grade: Heavenly Tribulation Immortal Technique, divided into Human Immortal, Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal and Mysterious Immortal chapters. Function: It can be used by mobilizing the qi and blood power of the whole body. After use, it consumes 1/10 of the lifespan of the cultivation level to raise the cultivation level by 1 major stage. Duration: 1 hour. Chapter 1094 Heavenly Blade refuses to accept. One move. He Pingsheng felt a surge of excitement. Because he has already achieved the effect he wanted. It doesn't mean sacrificing all of one's lifespan, but rather sacrificing only 1/10 of one's lifespan at one's current cultivation level to gain an hour of cultivation beyond one's current level. This feels so comfortable. So the question is, what is 1/10 of one's lifespan at a certain level of cultivation? It's very simple. For example, He Pingsheng is now at the human immortal stage, with a lifespan of 10,000 years. Therefore, each use of this technique will consume 1,000 years of one's lifespan. If one's cultivation reaches the Earth Immortal level, then each cultivation session consumes 10,000 years. Similarly, a Celestial Immortal consumes 100,000 years at a time, while a Profound Immortal consumes 1,000,000 years at a time. Once you reach the Golden Immortal level, this technique becomes unusable. Even so, He Pingsheng was overjoyed to have obtained such a magical technique. Let's first cultivate the Human Immortal chapter of the Heavenly Extreme Longevity Transformation Method. Unfortunately, before He Pingsheng could even begin cultivating the Heavenly Extreme Longevity Transformation Technique, someone came to his door. Heavenly Blade Taoist. Junior brother He. Upon seeing He Pingsheng, the Heavenly Blade Taoist bowed deeply to him. Although he bowed politely, what He Pingsheng saw on his face was 2 big expressions of discontent. Senior brother Chen Dao. He Pingsheng returned the greeting and asked, "May I ask what important matter you have to discuss with me today?" "No." Chen Dao said, "Junior brother He, may I speak with you in private?" "Okay." He Pingsheng smiled. He is definitely not afraid of Chen Dao. The 2 transformed into streaks of light and left Qianxia garden. Standing amidst the dense mist, Chen Dao stared at He Pingsheng and said, "I've been thinking about it. The reason you defeated me on the arena back then wasn't because of your skill, but because you were too cunning. You've already messed up my mentality." Then, in my first move, I hit myself, which resulted in a significant loss of combat power. If it weren't for this reason, you would have absolutely no chance of defeating me. He was very dissatisfied with his defeat in Chen Dao, so he went to watch He Pingsheng's matches afterwards. I should have kept quiet, because once I saw it, I was so angry I almost vomited blood. He Pingsheng would surrender to any opponent with some skill, but would fight a couple of times against those without. Based on the force He Pingsheng used during the match, Chen Dao immediately judged that his combat power was far superior to He Pingsheng's. The reason he lost to He Pingsheng was because He Pingsheng broke his mentality. So, after recovering for a few days, he rushed to find He Pingsheng. "Junior brother He, I don't actually want to compete for anything," Chen Dao said, looking at He Pingsheng. "I just want to fight you one more time. Even if you lose, this 10th place is still yours, I won't take it from you. The qualification to go to Qianxia Immortal City is also yours. However, I'm about to advance to the Earth Immortal stage, and I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to leave any scars on my Dao heart, so no matter what, I'm going to fight you today. Don't worry, I'm only concerned with winning this battle, I won't take your life. Is it okay?" He Pingsheng shook his head. "Are you sick in the head? I don't have time to argue with you." With the journey to Qianxia Immortal City drawing near, He Pingsheng was eager to go into seclusion as soon as possible, at least to master the first chapter of the Heavenly Extreme Longevity Transformation Technique. After saying that, He Pingsheng moved to leave. Even if it doesn't work, It has to work. Qian Dao roared and charged towards He Pingsheng, unleashing a punch that descended from the sky with a fierce wind. He Pingsheng swiftly dodged the heavenly blade Daoist's attack with a quick turn in midair. Fine, you want to fight me? You'll regret it. Come with me, it's too close to the sect here, it's not a good place to fight. Whoosh. In the next moment, He Pingsheng transformed into a streak of light and flew out of the outer gate. Upon seeing that He Pingsheng wanted to fight him, Daoist Qian Dao was overjoyed and quickly flew out like a shooting star to catch up with He Pingsheng. The two flew for a full hour before finally stopping in the vast mountains, landing on a bare mountaintop. It's not too late to regret it now. He Pingsheng crossed his arms and looked calmly at Qian Dao. Qian Dao laughed heartily. What's there to regret? With your meager abilities, do you think I don't know you? Even if I were outmatched, you still couldn't stop me. Good. He Pingsheng stared at Qian Dao and asked again, are you preparing to break through? That's right. Qian Dao said, I will fight you, win or lose, and prepare to break through to the Earth Immortal realm. He Pingsheng had a faint smile on his lips. I'm afraid that won't work. If you want to break through to the Earth Immortal stage, you'll have to wait a while longer. Qian Dao was taken aback. Why? He Pingsheng didn't speak, but instead circulated his blood and qi, and then, from 10 feet away in the void, he threw a punch at the heavenly blade. This punch seemed powerless. And it's not fast either. A smile crept across Qian Dao's lips. Well done. I'll take your punch. Boom. Qian Dao also threw a punch at He Pingsheng. However, the smile on Qian Dao's face froze the moment their fists made contact. Suddenly, the power in He Pingsheng's right arm erupted, tearing the sleeves of his Taoist robe to shreds with the fierce force. On his exposed right arm, golden lines appeared and shimmered, like lit flames. When power and vital energy flowed through those golden patterns, they suddenly turned purplish gold. The immense power was transmitted to the fist at that moment. Puff. In an instant, Qian Dao's right fist, which had come into contact with He Pingsheng's fist, shattered and turned into a rain of blood. He Pingsheng showed no sign of stopping and continued forward. Puff, puff, puff. Qian Dao's entire right arm was instantly blasted into bloody and fleshy fragments that shot into the void. He Pingsheng still had more than 80% of the immense power remaining in his hands. If this power rushed into his body, Qian Dao felt that he would surely die. But at this moment, he didn't even have time to open his mouth and shout surrender. That's too fast. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. It's over. It's over. This time it's really all over. How could this guy be so strong? So, they actually let me win back then. With this thought in mind, Qian Dao felt his death was approaching. However, at the crucial moment, He Pingsheng suddenly turned his fist slightly outward. The punch changed direction after shattering Qian Dao's arm. The immense force of the fist swept through the void and slammed into a boulder 100 feet behind Qian Dao. The boulder shattered into pieces in an instant. Behind the boulder, a hill several meters in size was also blasted into dust. He Pingsheng put away his fist. At that moment, Qian Dao collapsed onto the cold stone, panting heavily. Beads of sweat dripped incessantly from his forehead and cheeks. Thank you so much, junior brother, for showing mercy. He opened his mouth with some difficulty, uttered a few words with trembling voice, and then felt his throat become dry. He Pingsheng said calmly, I don't want anyone other than you and me to know about what happened today. Qian Dao nodded blankly. Don't worry, junior brother, it won't happen. He Pingsheng smiled and patted his shoulder. Go back and take good care of your injury. Once your arm has healed, you can prepare to break through to the Earth Immortal realm in 6 months. Chapter 1095 Thorin, returning to the Immortal City call out. He Pingsheng transformed into a beam of light and quickly disappeared into the vast Xianxia mountains. Qian Dao wiped the sweat from his forehead and face, then took out a golden pill from his ring and swallowed it in one gulp. A miraculous scene unfolded. The arm of the heavenly blade, which had been blasted to pieces, miraculously grew back in an instant thanks to the replenishment from this elixir. It's just that the newly grown arm is fair and tender, which looks somewhat out of place compared to the other dark arm. Who? Qian Dao exhaled deeply and took out another mid-grade heavenly spirit pill and swallowed it. Hey! Qian Dao cursed with a dark face after swallowing the heavenly spirit pill. Am I fucking crazy? Why did I eat the heavenly spirit pill? The heavenly spirit pill is a golden pill that replenishes the lost immortal essence in the dantian of the body. But Qian Dao's body was almost full of immortal energy. I only exchanged one punch with Yi Pingxing just now. How much could I have lost? My brain really isn't working properly anymore. Terrifying. This guy really kept it hidden. He killed me, so there's no need for a second move. I actually thought I could crush him. Ha ha ha. How ridiculous. Snap snap snap. Qian Dao slapped himself hard across the face several times. Damn it. I was supposed to enter the Earth Immortal realm, but now, it's going to be postponed for another 6 months. When a celestial being breaks through to the next level, their physical condition must be at its peak. This maximizes the success rate. At this moment, Qian Dao had lost countless amounts of primal power due to the growth of his arm. Although swallowing the blood-melting golden pill could replenish some of his primal power, it was absolutely impossible to fully replenish it. To achieve a perfect result, it needs to be nurtured for at least 6 months. Hey, that bastard was right, my breakthrough really is going to be delayed. He returned to the temple to continue his seclusion. Yi Pingxing took out the primordial purple gold cudgel and held it upright in front of him. The stick has a purplish gold color. It wasn't much different from before, but Yi Pingxing knew when he held the stick that it had been upgraded. Although this stick is still just a piece of material, its current level is roughly equivalent to a second-grade immortal artifact. The key is that it can still absorb the essence of other materials, thereby enhancing itself. This is great stuff. Let's see if we can enhance it now. If we can strengthen it, we can also make a copy, and then combine the two together. Yi Pingxing was moved by his own whimsical idea and immediately pulled out the treasure basin to try it out. The result was a failure. Oh well, so be it if we fail. Yi Pingxing took out the enhanced, heavenly extreme longevity transformation technique and began to cultivate it. His practice was interrupted again after less than a month. Junior brother, you absolutely mustn't go to Feng Shui Pavilion. Su Muyu tugged at Yi Pingxing's sleeve, her face full of sorrow. Good people don't go there. Yi Pingxing said, don't worry, senior sister, I'm not going. Wah! Su Muyu looked heartbroken. Remember to come back. If you can't beat them, surrendering isn't shameful. Anyway, you're only 10th place. I will miss you. Yi Pingxing pursed his lips. Miss me? Are you sure you don't want to play cards? After bidding farewell to his master, senior brothers, and senior sisters, Yi Pingxing arrived at the outer gate of Red Lotus Immortal Valley. This trip to Chenquan City was led by Elder Suolin from the outer sect. Greetings, Elder Thorin. Yi Pingxing cupped his hands in greeting to Suolin. Solin stood at the entrance of the outer hall, staring at Yi Pingxing for about 3 breaths without saying a word, then sighed and said, Yi Pingxing, Yi Pingxing. You're amazing. This statement came out of nowhere and without any basis, leaving Yi Pingxing with a completely baffling feeling. Thorin said, let's go inside. Once everyone's here, we can set off. Go. She pointed to the main hall behind her. After Yi Pingxing went inside, she sighed softly again. Sorin had no romantic feelings for Yi Pingxing. She was simply somewhat shocked by the speed at which he had grown. It was she who personally brought Yi Pingxing to the inner sect back then, and from then on, Yi Pingxing was able to take root and flourish in the inner sect. At that time, in Solin's eyes, Yi Pingxing was just a mere first-level human immortal. How many years had it been? It's already 9 floors. 440 years. It's truly heartbreaking. For people have already entered the main hall. Yi Pingxing politely cupped his hands in greeting to the group of people, and they returned the greeting. After another half incense sticks time, everyone finally arrived. Come out, all of you. Thorin stood outside the main hall and unfurled a flying boat. This flying boat is much larger than Yi Pingxing's flying boat, but it is much smaller than the immortal ship that carried hundreds of disciples to the Qianquan immortal city Gudao last time. It is only 10 zhong wide and 20 zhong long. There are about 20 rooms in total, from front to back. After all, there are only 10 people going to Qianquan immortal city this time, so there are enough rooms. Let's get on the boat first. After everyone boarded the ship, it soared into the sky and headed towards Qianquan immortal city. He Pingxing looked around and saw that, apart from Solin, there were 7 men and 3 women on the ship. My dear reader, there's more to, even more exciting content awaits. The top-ranked student is a male disciple from the Internal Affairs Department named Long Shangyun. The second one is a woman named Xianxia. Xianxia is very young and has the cultivation level of the 11th level of the human immortal stage. She has not yet broken through the bottleneck. However, her identity is quite special. She is a disciple of another heavenly immortal from the Red Lotus Immortal Valley. Therefore, although Xianxia was only at the human immortal level, everyone present had to call her martial aunt. Third place, Zhong Zhixian. Uncle Master Solin. Just as they set off, He Pingxing couldn't help but ask Solin, "Aren't we all going to Qianquan immortal city like this? Aren't we being escorted by anyone else?" Thorin asked, "Am I not enough? Who else do you need to escort me?" He Pingxing immediately fell silent. Good heavens! This is really bad for Red Lotus Immortal Valley. Don't they learn their lesson at all? These 10 disciples are the core of the entire Red Lotus Immortal Valley's inner sect. If they are wiped out in one fell swoop, what future will the sect have? Don't worry. Sorin took a deep breath and said, "First, Lu Xiaozi isn't here. Neither Kunwu Mountain nor Baiyun Immortal Sect will intercept us. Secondly, we're heading to Qianquan City to participate in the grand competition. If they dare to cause trouble and report this to the City Lord's mansion, no individual or sect can bear the responsibility. Of course, there's a third one." Sorin took another deep breath and looked at He Pingxing, saying, "There are only 3 celestial immortals in the sect. If we have a celestial immortal escorting us, I'm afraid the sect's defenses won't be strong enough, and I'm also afraid that others will plot against our celestial immortal experts on the way." "So, do you understand?" He Pingxing said, "I understand. To put it bluntly, it's because there isn't enough protective force." Then, He Pingxing asked again, "I heard that Star Emperor City also holds a sword testing competition for Earth Immortals. Why doesn't our sect have any Earth Immortal seniors participating?" Solin said, "For the Earth Immortal stage competition, you can just go directly to Star Emperor City to participate. There's no need for a second selection in Qianquan Immortal City." Chapter 1096 Reunion with Chu Sheng. Straight to Thorin was right. No one blocked their way this time. After a safe journey, the group arrived safely at Qianquan Immortal City 3 months later. Upon entering the city, He Pingxing clearly felt that this immortal city was much more crowded than before. "Wow, so many people!" someone exclaimed in shock. Solin said, "For this Qianquan Immortal City Grand Competition, almost every sect sent at least 10 disciples to try their luck, resulting in a total of hundreds of thousands, or even millions, of people flooding in at once. So it seems that this immortal city is much more crowded. I'm afraid even finding Xianxia won't be easy now." He Pingxing asked, "Elder Suolin, when will the competition in the immortal city begin?" Thorin said, "It'll be soon, only a month left. Let's go to the City Lord's mansion first to get our combat tokens. After we get them, let's find a place to stay at the immortal abode. Come with me." Thorin led the group toward the City Lord's mansion. He Pingxing, however, had some doubts. How should a competition involving hundreds of thousands of people be conducted? Even with an elimination system, it would still take hundreds of thousands of matches. Where are there so many fighting rings? If there are only a dozen or so arenas, wouldn't it take many years to fight? However, thinking about it, this kind of competition is not the first time. The City Lord's mansion must have its own complete system, so He Pingxing is not worried. But how can one get into the top 10 and qualify to go to Star Emperor City, while at the same time minimizing the attention others pay to them? That's the problem. The key point is that this problem isn't particularly big. The biggest problem is that if you manage to get first place in Star Emperor City and ask the Star Emperor for a wish, then your brilliance will be fully revealed, and you won't be able to hide it anymore. Ku Heping has also made up his mind. Damn it, at worst I'll just disappear after I get the refining god technique and never come back to this Red Lotus Immortal Valley again. In this way, neither the White Cloud Immortal Sect nor Kunwu Mountain could find me, nor would they dare to deal with the Red Lotus Immortal Valley at will. That's killing two birds with one stone. As they were pondering, the group arrived at the entrance of the City Lord's mansion. Before he even went inside, He Pingsheng saw a man in a blue Taoist robe walk over and bow to him, saying, "Senior He." He Pingsheng recognized this person. He was the grandson of the Deputy City Lord of Chenyin City, and his name was Chu Sheng. When He Pingsheng left Chenkuan Immortal City last time, both of them were at the 5th level of the human immortal stage. Now that they meet again, He Pingsheng is at the 9th level, while Chu Sheng is only at the 6th level. In fact, for ordinary immortals, breaking through one level every few hundred years is already quite good. To be able to advance from the 5th to the 6th level in 200 years can be described as extraordinary talent. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that over 90% of the immortals at the human immortal stage are immortals. Fellow Daoist Chu. He Pingsheng quickly returned the greeting, saying, "I dare not accept such a compliment. Let's address each other as fellow Taoists. Uncle Master Solin, could you please help me get my number plate? I have something to attend to and will be a little delayed." "All right." Thorin's gaze lingered on Chu Sheng for a few moments before he nodded and left. "Fellow Daoist He, this way please, let's sit together." Chu Sheng made an inviting gesture. He Pingsheng gladly went, and the two found a tea house nearby to sit down. At the same time, He Pingsheng could also see the situation at the entrance of the City Lord's mansion from the tea house, so that he wouldn't miss Thorin when he came out later. "How is Senior Chenyin?" After the two sat down by the window, He Pingsheng casually took a sip of tea and asked. Chu Sheng's eyes immediately reddened. He rubbed his eyes and said, "My grandfather has passed away." "Heh." He Pingsheng was somewhat surprised. "So fast? Please accept my condolences." He Pingsheng hesitated for a moment before sighing. "Senior Chenyin was a good person and helped me a lot. Has his lifespan run out?" Chu Sheng nodded, then shook his head, "Yes and no. My grandfather has indeed reached the end of his lifespan. However, he did not die because of his lifespan. Knowing his time was running out, he dedicated his last skills and abilities to the Star Emperor before perishing. To this day, not a trace of his remains remains." Wah! At this point, Chu Sheng couldn't help but sob softly. After crying for a while, he took out a black token and placed it on the table in front of He Pingsheng, saying, "This is a direct pass token for the Yuhuang Star Sword Trial Competition. My grandfather died, and the Star Emperor City gave me this thing, saying that I don't need to go through the selection of Chenkuan Immortal City and can directly enter the competition. But, look at me, I'm only at the 6th level of the human immortal stage. Giving me this token would be a waste. Even if I were to participate in the competition, I'd probably be eliminated in the first round. Senior brother, you are different. You are already at the 9th level of the human immortal stage. My grandfather said that you are a genius that is unique in the entire history of Chenkuan Immortal City. You can keep this sign." He Pingsheng looked at the brand and his heart skipped a beat. "This is good stuff, I'm exactly looking for something like this right now." However, he did not pick up the plaque immediately, saying, "Junior brother Chu, if I were truly a genius, I would naturally not need this plaque. I could fight my way to the top 10 in Chenkuan Immortal City on my own. If I weren't a genius, even if I were given this title and went to Star Emperor City, I would still be defeated in the end. So this token isn't of much use to me, so you should keep it for yourself, Junior brother Chu." It wasn't that He Pingsheng was being hypocritical. Rather, he wanted to see Chu Sheng's true thoughts. Chu Sheng shook his head and said, "What senior brother said is certainly reasonable, but you haven't yet reached the 12th level of the Tao Immortal Realm. Even if you are a prodigy, you might suffer a loss when facing other prodigies who have reached the 12th level of the Tao Immortal Realm. Therefore, this sign is given to you, just in case. Furthermore, to be honest, senior brother, there are several deputy city lords in this Xianxia immortal city who covet the plaque I possess. However, my grandfather has just passed away, and they are all influential figures. They want to have their cake and eat it too, hoping I will give it to them willingly. I was worried they would resort to coercion in the end, so I gave it to you now, which saves me a lot of trouble. He Pingxing nodded and said, all right. I appreciate junior brother Chu's kindness. If there's anything you need me to do, just say the word. As long as it's within my power, I certainly won't refuse. Chu Sheng asked, Can I come with you? He Pingxing was taken aback. What do you mean? I didn't understand. Then, naturally, He Pingxing thought of something that sent chills down his spine, and quickly squeezed his legs together, saying, Brother, I don't have any special fetishes. No. Chu Sheng's face immediately turned red. He said, Senior brother, you misunderstand. What I mean is, I will follow you from now on. If you spread your wings and soar to great heights in the future, I can also benefit from your success. This was also my grandfather's wish before he passed away. He Pingxing breathed a deep sigh of relief and said, Okay, as long as it's not like that, it scared me to death. Chapter 1097 City Lord Qingyu, you agreed. Chu Sheng was overjoyed. He Pingxing nodded, I agree. From now on, come with me. As long as I have food to eat, you won't go hungry. If I'm starving, you won't have an easy time either. Even if Chu Sheng hadn't given He Pingxing the token, He Pingxing would still have taken Chu Sheng with him. After all, his grandfather, Qianyin, had helped him a great deal twice. If Qianyin, the deputy city lord, were replaced by someone else, considering Ji Wuxin's previous difficulties and the city lord search for Fairy Tsayu, He Pingxing would have faced countless troubles. However, there's still a problem. Chu Sheng said, to participate in the Star Emperor City's sword trial competition, besides having a direct entry spot, you also need to register with the City Lord and get her approval before you can join the Xianxia Immortal City team to participate in the Star Emperor City's competition. But don't worry, as long as we have this token, and since my grandfather is the Deputy City Lord, I'll take you to see the City Lord, and she will definitely agree. He Pingxing nodded, thank you. He took a sip of tea and asked, Junior Brother Chu, besides the fact that the first place winner can make a wish to the Star Emperor, are there any other benefits to participating in the Star Emperor City Sword Trial competition? Why are so many people flocking to it? Of course. Chu Sheng said, if it were just about competing for first place, I doubt even anyone from our Xianxia Immortal City would go. Besides winning the Star Emperor title by competing for first place, you can also try to improve your ranking in each trial. Within Star Emperor City, there are 2 sword testing steles. The top 100 in the Earth Immortal stage and the top 100 in the Human Immortal stage are recorded on it. Especially this Immortal stele, it has received even more attention and is even more important. For example, if someone from Xianxia Immortal City can enter the top 100 of the Human Immortal stele this time, then the resources of the entire star will be allocated according to the number of people who enter the top 100. This is a real benefit. There are other benefits as well. For example, countless people want to become the Star Emperor's disciple. There are still people who wish to hear the Daoist teachings of the Star Emperor. And many more. In addition, the top 100 will also receive a reward. Most importantly, if you make it into the top 10 of this competition, the Star Emperor will issue you a Star Emperor token. With the Star Emperor token in hand, no one will dare to bully you. He Pingxing suddenly had a thought. Star Emperor's decree. If I could obtain this item and place it in Red Lotus Immortal Valley, wouldn't the White Cloud Immortal Sect and Kunwu Mountain be too afraid to touch Red Lotus Immortal Valley? However, he quickly denied this claim. If they really obtained the Star Emperor's decree, He Pingxing estimated that the other 2 would definitely intensify their efforts to destroy the Red Lotus Immortal Valley. Just kidding, we're already enemies. Are we still raising tigers to cause trouble? About an hour later, He Pingxing saw Solin leading the other sect disciples out of the City Lord's mansion. Let's go. He Pingxing said, come with me. He hurriedly came down from the tea house and went to Thorin's side. Thorin curled his lip. You're quite good at finding a quiet place, aren't you? You came here to drink tea, making me run errands for you. Here is your brand. This is your number. Thorin handed He Pingxing a metal plaque with a number on it, number 33967. Goodness, over 30,000 numbers. But that's normal, considering there are hundreds of thousands of people participating in this competition. Thank you, Elder. He Pingxing pointed to the tea house next door and said, I'll treat you to tea. Also, I have something else to report to you. Elder Thorin, this is my friend Chu Sheng. Chu Sheng gave me a spot that leads directly to the Star Imperial City Sword Trial competition. I need to go to the City Lord's mansion to report this. What? Upon hearing this, everyone else gaped in shock, staring at He Pingxing. Straight through? The Star Emperor City Sword Trial competition? Are you kidding me? He Pingxing. Thorin's face immediately darkened. What kind of rubbish friends have you made? You actually believe such nonsense? Do you know how serious and solemn the Star Emperor City's grand competition is? Out of hundreds of thousands of disciples in the entire Xianxia Immortal City, only 10 people can ultimately enter. You actually thought, you, direct access. He Pingxing, do you even have a brain? Thorin unleashed a barrage of attacks on He Pingxing. He Pingxing smiled, not blaming her, and said, Elder Solin, don't be angry. Come on, you've worked hard, have some tea first. Thorin, unaware of the specific circumstances, would naturally make a different judgment, which is not surprising. I'm not drinking anymore. Thorin said. You younger ones go and drink. Aren't you going to the City Lord's mansion? I'll go with you to register, so we don't get scammed. Chu Sheng, standing beside him, wore a helpless, bitter smile. The three entered the City Lord's mansion again. Chu Sheng was a frequent visitor to the City Lord's mansion. He walked along the road and soon arrived at the palace where the City Lord of Qingyu was located. 2 more immortals stood guard at the palace entrance. Gentlemen. Chu Sheng cupped his hands and said, Chu Sheng requests an audience with Senior Lord Qingyu. All right. Clearly, one of them recognized Chu Sheng. He smiled and said, Young Master Chu Sheng, please wait a moment, I'll go and inform him right away. After a dozen or so breaths, the man walked out of the main hall and said, Gentlemen, the City Lord invites you. Having arrived here, Thorin's doubts were dispelled. Are you kidding? They've come all the way to the City Lord's place, how could they be lying? However, she wondered why, when there was a direct entry spot available, it had to be given to He Pingxing. What exactly is the relationship between this kid and He Pingxing? The three of them carefully entered the main hall of City Lord Qingyu. He Pingxing glanced around and almost peed his pants in fright. The room was full of people. A woman dressed in a blue Taoist robe sat in the middle, and below her were 5 or 6 immortals with different appearances. Each immortal's cultivation level is astonishing. Holy crap! They're in a meeting. Even Chu Sheng himself hadn't expected this situation. Greetings, City Lord. Feeling the oppressive atmosphere around him, Chu Sheng even trembled as he spoke. He Pingxing was all right. He took a deep breath and bowed. Thorin also bowed with his hands clasped in greeting. Chu Sheng, what's wrong? Qingyu asked Chu Sheng with concern. Do you need something from me? Why did you bring others with you? Oh. Chu Sheng pointed to He Pingxing and said, This is my friend He Pingxing. I'm going to give him this direct entry spot, so I've come to inform you, Senior. Upon hearing this, the elders in the room suddenly changed color. Even Qingyu himself frowned. Her immense divine sense swept over He Pingxing, and she said, A talent at the 9th level of the immortal realm. What is your relationship with him? This direct entry spot was earned with your grandfather's life. Why would you give it to him? Qingyu stared at He Pingxing and asked Chu Sheng. At the same time, the powerful divine senses of the others also swept over He Pingxing. Even Thorin wasn't spared. Chapter 1098 Basic 4 Stages Shuhaijin Net. That's right. Chu Sheng, your grandfather has just passed away. You are still inexperienced in the ways of the world, so you must not be deceived by others. That's right, you've no use for this direct pass. You might as well give it to me, and I'll definitely treat you well. In front of City Lord Qingyu, I will offer ample reward. Immortal crystals are fine with me, as are all kinds of cultivation supplies. As soon as Qingyu finished speaking, 2 or 3 elders called out to Chu Sheng. Chu Sheng shook his head and said, I'm sorry, grandfathers, I've already promised fellow Daoist he, and I've even made a heavenly oath. So, give this to him. That shut everyone up. You've already made a vow to heaven, so what can you do about it? This item was obtained by your grandfather with his life, so naturally you have the final say. City Lord Qingyu spoke again, but she was looking at He Pingxing as she spoke. If this person has the cultivation level of the 12th level, then I won't say anything. But right now, his cultivation level is too low. Going to Star Emperor City to participate in the competition is also a matter of face for my Chenkuan Immortal City. If my cultivation is too weak, I will be ridiculed. Your name is He Pingxing, right? He Pingxing cupped his hands in greeting. Yes. All right. Qingyu said, He Pingxing, very good. Here's what we'll do. I won't ask what kind of deal you made with Chu Sheng. He gave you the token, so it's yours, and I won't interfere. However, if you want to represent our Chenkuan Immortal City in the grand competition, it won't be that easy. He Pingxing nodded. This isn't something you can achieve simply by having a direct entry spot. We also need to report to the City Lord's mansion. Even if you have a token, you still cannot go to Star Emperor City if you cannot register at the City Lord's mansion. Even if they arrived in Star Emperor City, they wouldn't be able to participate in the competition. To put it simply, my Chenkuan Immortal City cannot afford to lose face like this. Qingyu said calmly, want to complete the registration and filing here? No problem, but there's one condition. My condition is that you must pass at least the 4 basic trials in this competition in Chenkuan Immortal City. Come find me again after you've passed the 4 basic levels. We still have a meeting. You lot can leave now. The 3 were blasted out of the main hall. Phew. Everyone breathed a deep sigh of relief. Let's go. He Pingxing shook his head. After the 3 of them left the City Lord's mansion, He Pingxing asked Chu Sheng, what are the 4 basic levels? I know that. Before Chu Sheng could speak, Solin said, the so-called 4 basic levels refer to attack power, speed, defense, and divine sense. Before the grand competition in Chenkuan Immortal City, all immortals must first pass these 4 trials. Only after passing these 4 tests can you participate in the subsequent arena battles. If you can't even pass these 4 tests, then you don't even have the qualification to participate in the arena battle. Passing all 4 basic levels won't be easy. Thorin continued, each level will eliminate 70% of the participants, leaving only 30%. After 4 rounds, basically 99% of the people will be eliminated. Of these hundreds of thousands of people, only a few thousand will be able to stay. It's very difficult. Yes. Chu Sheng said, Senior brother it is very difficult. But with your abilities, passing these 4 trials should not be a problem. After all, these 4 trials are just the basics. He Pingxing smiled and said, no problem. Are you kidding me? If you can't pass these 4 levels, what's the point of participating in the competition? You really have a direct pass. This time it was Thorin's turn to be shocked. A direct pass. He Pingxing, do you know what this means? That means you'll be in the top 10 in Chenkuan Immortal City when we get back. You're really going to be in for a big surprise this time. Chu Sheng said, Senior Thorin, it's not the top 10, it's 11th. This direct entry spot is extra. Thorin rubbed his forehead and said, anyway, it's all about the same. By the way, what exactly did you give them that made them give you such a precious spot? Thorin wasn't prying into other people's privacy. He was just curious. Before He Pingxing could speak, Chu Sheng said, Senior brother he didn't give me anything, but he promised me that I would stay by his side from now on. Heh. Thorin's mouth gaped open even wider. It's that simple. Chu Sheng nodded. It's that simple. But why? Thorin said, why do you insist on following him? What's so good about him?
Hey, hiss, your tour, me god, tsk.
Thorin's expression immediately changed. Just moments ago, they were filled with shock and curiosity, but now, in an instant, their expressions have turned to disdain and disgust. He Pingxing immediately tensed up and said, Elder Solin, don't think nonsense, it's not what you think. Chu Sheng realized something and quickly waved his hands, saying, Senior Solin, it's definitely not what you think. I just feel that I simply admire Senior Brother He. My grandfather also said before he died that I should follow him, and perhaps I would have a good future. This was all arranged by my grandfather. Thorin looked at her with a guess if I believe you attitude, then shook her head violently and said, Let's go, weren't you going to treat me to a cup of immortal tea? Let's go in and have some tea. The three of them went into the tea house and met up with the geniuses from Red Lotus Valley, and then they drank tea together. No need to go to Xianxia. During the tea party, when the topic of staying at Xianxia came up, Chu Sheng quickly said, My family has a large mansion in Qianquan Immortal City, but there are hardly any people living there. Since my grandfather passed away, the only people living in this mansion besides me are some servants. You can come with me and stay at our house. Anyway, I'm just killing time. I was originally planning to sell this mansion when I went to Star Emperor City. His words immediately stirred the interest of everyone present. After all, going to Xianxia is not only expensive, but also inconvenient. If I could stay at Chu Sheng's house, that would be wonderful. All right. Thorin was the first to raise his hand, then thank you very much, Chu Sheng. You're welcome. Chu Sheng said, we'll be friends from now on. He Pingxing said, after my competition ends, Chu Sheng may have to return to the sect with me. We'll ask the ancestor then, and if the ancestor agrees, he will become our fellow disciple. We are all disciples of the Crimson Lotus Valley now. After finishing the immortal tea, everyone followed Chu Sheng to their home. This mansion is very large, and it is also very close to the City Lord's mansion. As Chu Sheng welcomed everyone into the mansion, he said, the City Lord's competition will last for another month. You can rest here as you please during this time. I'll come and call you all when the competition starts. The competition starts with the 4 basic stages, so please prepare accordingly. Chapter 1099 Wu Zhanyan, Deputy City Lord. This was my grandfather's old temple. No one uses it anymore. Senior Brother He, you can temporarily cultivate and go into seclusion here. Chu Sheng led He Pingxing to a magnificent hall. He Pingxing said, all right, then I won't stand on ceremony. Don't mention it. Chu Sheng smiled. I'll be in seclusion in the main hall next door. Let me know if anything comes up. After Chu Sheng left, He Pingxing entered the main hall. This grand hall is not only magnificent, but also has 2 layers of 3rd-grade immortal arrays outside the hall. One is a warning array, and the other is a divine suppressing array. The defensive formation is gone, because no one dared to trespass on Elder Qianin's dojo near the City Lord's mansion. So preventing peeping is enough. He Pingxing was very satisfied. With these 2 layers of formations in place, even a cultivator at the peak of the profound immortal realm would have no chance of spying. I checked the formation, and there are no problems. Then I'll go into seclusion. He Pingxing went into seclusion to continue practicing the heavenly extreme longevity transformation method. He had been cultivating on Thorin's ship for several months when he first arrived, but He Pingxing failed to complete the first chapter of his cultivation. Although it hasn't been completed yet, it will be soon. Continue. He Pingxing planned to successfully cultivate this immortal technique in the last month before the competition. The problem arose after only half a day of seclusion. Chu Sheng's voice came from outside, Senior Brother He, excuse me, someone has arrived. Has someone visited? He Pingxing frowned slightly, quickly went out the door and activated the formation, where 5 people appeared in front of him. Besides Chu Sheng, there was a tall middle-aged man and a tall elderly woman. 2 more young men followed behind the two. He Pingxing scanned it with his divine sense. The 2 young men behind him were both at the 12th level of the human immortal stage. As for the middle-aged man and the elderly woman, their cultivation levels were beyond He Pingxing's comprehension. Congratulations, fellow Daoist. Chu Sheng quickly said, this is Vice City Lord Wu Zhanyan, and this is Vice City Lord Linglong. He Pingxing quickly bowed. At the same time, a thought popped into my head. Why does the word exquisite sound so familiar? Seniors, senior brothers, please come in. With a whoosh, the 5 of them entered He Pingxing's makeshift dojo together and sat down. The old fairy named Linglong glanced at the Taoist temple and said, seeing these things reminds me of people, it's truly heartbreaking. Even we immortals eventually have to come to this point. Indeed. Wu Zhanyan also said, fellow Daoist Qianin's life is truly lamentable. The 2 exchanged a few casual remarks, and then Wu Zhanyan looked at He Pingxing and asked, your name is He Pingxing, right? We met at the City Lord's mansion just now. He Pingxing nodded. When I first met Qingyu, I did see those 2 having a meeting at Qingyu's dojo. Let's not beat around the bush. We've come to you for only one purpose, the quota you hold. Wu Zhanyan looked at He Pingxing and said, He Pingxing, I'm interested in this. Of course, as the Deputy City Lord of Qiankuan Immortal City, I won't try to take it by trickery. Can we make a deal? He Pingxing immediately straightened up. Of course, the purpose of this junior participating in the Star Emperor City Sword Trial Competition is to fulfill the Star Emperor's wish and ask the Star Emperor for an item. If senior has anything I need, then this junior naturally has no desire to participate in any more sword testing competitions. Wu Zhanyan was overjoyed and said, great. What do you need? Wait a minute. Before He Pingxing could speak, the fairy Linglong stood up and said, you 2 stop for a moment. I'm here to get the direct entry spot you have. And it's agreed that everyone will compete fairly. If I happen to have the same item later, let young friend he choose first. Whoever he takes a fancy to, that person can make the deal with him, how about that? These words were spoken to Wu Zhanyan. Wu Zhanyan nodded and said, okay, no problem. Young friend please tell me what you need. He Pingxing took a deep breath and said, seniors, I need a refining spirit immortal technique that allows immortals to refine their spirits. I wonder which of you has one. In He Pingxing's understanding, it's not a big deal for a high-level immortal to have 1 or 2 books on refining spirit techniques. However, after hearing He Pingxing's sincere tone, the 2 of them frowned simultaneously. This. He Pingxing. Wu Zhanyan spoke first. You may not know, but in the immortal realm, methods of refining the spirit are extremely rare. Moreover, ordinary methods of refining the spirit actually have very limited effect on improving divine sense. They are quite useless. Not many people are willing to repair it, and over time, a great deal of this skill has been lost. Therefore, even in the entire Qiankuan Immortal City, there might not be many. If you want it, I can guarantee to find 1 or 2 copies for you within 1,000 years, but if you ask me to give it to you now, I really don't have any. That's right, said the exquisite fairy. To be honest, young friend your conditions aren't that high. But the problem is, we don't have them right now. How about this, you give me the spot, and I can guarantee that I can find you a decent method for refining the spirit within 1,000 years. No, I'll find you too. A bitter smile immediately appeared on He Pingxing's face. Just kidding. Millennium? Not to mention that this takes too long. What if you change your mind later? Who am I supposed to turn to? My dear reader, there's more to, even more exciting content awaits. This. He Pingxing cupped his hands in apology to the 2 men. I'm sorry, seniors, but if I don't have the method of refining the spirit, I cannot agree to the transaction. He Pingxing refused frankly. HMPH. Just as He Pingxing refused, the young man behind Wu Zhanyan said, how laughable. Who do you think you are? You're dreaming. He Pingxing, what you say seems reasonable, but it is actually extremely rude. Shut up. Wu Zhanyan's face darkened, and he turned to look at the young man. Martial cultivators must not be rude, and even less should they speak nonsense. Wu Xiu simply stepped forward and said, Grandpa, he was being unreasonable to begin with. He Pingxing, your argument seems reasonable. After we win the sword trial competition, we'll have the Star Emperor give you a divine refining technique. Yes, no problem. A refining god technique is nothing to Lord Star Emperor. And he'll definitely give it to you, and your wish isn't unreasonable at all. But the question is, can you win first place in the Star Emperor City Sword Trial competition? You, a mere 9th level cultivator, dare to dream of winning among millions of people. Yet you're just a fool who only entered the competition through a direct entry spot, and you're making such an rude request? Aren't you trying to screw over my grandfather? That's right. Wu Zhangyun suddenly realized and said, He Pingxing, even if you have a direct pass, the chances of you getting the cultivation technique in the end are extremely slim. Or rather, it's simply impossible. Would you like to reconsider? Chapter 1102 Evils compared. A glimmer of hope rekindled in Linglong Fairy's eyes. He Pingxing, this is indeed true. Let me put it this way, I'll work it out for you in reverse. Let's assume you actually win first place in the final sword testing competition and fulfill the Star Emperor's wish. So you're already number 1 on Yu Huang Star. With that kind of strength, what do you need this direct entry spot for? If you fight your way into the top 10 in Qianxia Immortal City, wouldn't that be a piece of cake? Conversely, if you can't enter the Yu Huang Star Sword Trial competition without this direct entry spot, then what's the use of having a direct entry spot if you can't even get into the top 10 in Qianxia Immortal City? Do you think you can become the number 1 in Yu Huang Star? Therefore, no matter what, giving up this spot in the trade is the most cost-effective option for you. Everyone was looking at He Pingxing, because Fairy Linglong's reasoning was so logical that it was practically flawless. He Pingxing smiled and said, Thank you for your concern, seniors, but we'll take it one step at a time. Who knows what will happen next? How about this? I still want to test my abilities. The City Lord said before that I should first go through the 4 basic trials. If I pass the 4 basic trials, then I can go straight to the next level. If I fail the 4 basic tests, then you two can come back to me for a deal, okay? Linglong glanced at Wu Zhangyun. Wu Zhangyun also came to terms with Linglong. They both nodded in the end. After all, we can't openly force He Pingxing, can we? All right, that's settled then. Wu Zhangyun stood up and waved his sleeve. If you can't pass the 4 basic trials, I'll come looking for you again. The 4 people slowly left. Only He Pingxing and Chu Sheng remained in the main hall. Senior brother He, I think if it's not feasible, you should give the spot to them. Chu Sheng said with a worried expression. My grandfather once said that Senior Linglong is fairly decent, but Wu Zhangyun is not a good person. This person is narrow-minded, suspicious, and extremely ruthless. If we offend him, we might be in trouble. He Pingxing frowned and asked, What is this guy's cultivation level? A Xianxia. Chu Sheng said, To become a city lord or deputy city lord, one must at least be a Xianxia. I heard my grandfather mention before that Elder Wu Zhangyun was at the 2nd level of the early Xianxian stage. And he also seems to be exceptionally intelligent. He Pingxing nodded. A 2nd level Xianxian is indeed someone you can't afford to offend. He Pingxing frowned. What should we do? First, if you offend Wu Zhangyun, don't trade with him. Then, by using the direct entry quota, you can avoid revealing your strength and gain temporary concealment, thus avoiding trouble from Kunwu Mountain and Baiyun Immortal Sect. Second, give this direct access token to Wu Zhangyun, and then rely on your own strength to sweep through everything and enter the top 10 of Qianxia Immortal City. After becoming famous, Kunwu Mountain and Baiyun Immortal Sect will definitely regard me as a great enemy, and it will be easy for them to take action against me in secret. 2 paths. Choose one. Call. He Pingxing took a deep breath and made a decision. He chose one option, offend Wu Zhangyun. Why choose this option? It's a very simple principle. Even if you make a deal with Wu Zhangyun now and then gradually push your way into the top 10 of Qianxia Immortal City, What will Kunwu Mountain and Bayun Immortal Sect think at that time? They will definitely keep sending people to assassinate and intercept them. Even if we reach Star Emperor City, we may not be safe. This is only one aspect. More importantly, Wu Zhanyun wasn't stupid. In Wu Zhanyun's eyes, no matter what kind of transaction they make, He Pingsheng will definitely be unwilling. And now, He Pingsheng has shown great potential to sweep everything aside. What will Wu Zhanyun think? He must have felt that once He Pingsheng grew up, it would be his end. Wouldn't he take action to eliminate potential threats in advance? Therefore, offending Wu Zhanyun would only invite Wu Zhanyun's revenge alone. But if he made a deal with Wu Zhanyun, what awaited He Pingsheng would be a triple attack from Wu Zhanyun, Bayun Immortal Sect and Kunwu Mountain. Which is more important? As for whether rejecting Wu Zhanyun and hiding his strength, and then winning first place in Star Emperor City, would attract the pursuit of Kunwu Mountain and Bayun Immortal Sect? That's definitely not going to happen. After all, the disciples of Bayun Immortal Sect and Kunwu Mountain are most likely not qualified to participate in the competition in Star Emperor City, and the two sects certainly wouldn't know He Pingsheng's achievements in Star Emperor City immediately. By the time they got their results, I'd already disappeared and never returned to Red Lotus Immortal Valley. Where can you find me? If they can't find me by then, the two sects probably won't dare to easily attack Red Lotus Immortal Valley, right? After all, who wouldn't worry about the revenge of a peerless genius once they grow up? Therefore, rather than being suppressed from both sides, it is better to just endure one side. Absolutely no compromise. Junior brother Chu, I need to go into seclusion for a while, it's very urgent. He Pingsheng sent Chu Sheng away and began to continue comprehending the heavenly extreme longevity technique. Once this thing is refined, one can exchange lifespan for cultivation. Briefly raising your cultivation level by one realm and then fighting enemies of a higher level. Although you still can't defeat a Xianxia level opponent, it's good to prepare early. The key point is that He Ping feels he is almost there. Not far from the City Lord's mansion, in another enormous mansion. In the dark hall, Wu Xiu cupped his hands and said, "Grandpa, we've found out." "All right." The tall and imposing Wu Zhanyun flicked his sleeves and said, "Tell me about it." "Yes," the martial arts cultivator replied. "This fellow He Pingsheng comes from a sect called Red Lotus Immortal Valley, located in a corner below Qianquan Immortal City. This sect is very weak, it only has one ascension pool. Moreover, although He Pingsheng qualified for the Qianquan Immortal City competition, he was only ranked 10th from the bottom in their sect's internal competition. 10th place, last place." Wu Zhanyun frowned slightly, then relaxed and said with a smile, "Great. In that case, he probably won't be able to pass the 4 basic levels." Joke. In the immortal city of Qianquan, the 4 basic trials will eliminate 99% of the people, only taking about 1% of them. Since He Pingsheng is at the bottom of the Red Lotus Immortal Valley, he is also at the bottom of the entire Qianquan Immortal City. Even if he isn't at the bottom, there's absolutely no way he could be in the top 1%. So, if I can't get past the 4 basic levels, this direct entry spot will be mine. A smug smile appeared on Wu Zhanyun's face. He sat down while waving his sleeves and said, "Showa, you still need to keep an eye on He Pingsheng's basic 4-stage competition. Don't let anything go wrong. It's never too bad to be safe than sorry." "Yes." Wu Xiu cupped his hands and said, "I understand, Grandpa, but what will we use to exchange for his direct access pass?" Wu Xiu asked Wu Zhanyun. Wu Zhanyun sneered, "A mere disciple at the human immortal stage, from an obscure little sect, can be dismissed with a few gifts. What, you really want me to do a normal transaction with him? It's just that Linglong is a bit of a problem. We need to think of a way to get her to give up on her own." Thank you for listening to Panda Audiobooks. If you love what you hear and want to support my work, check out the PayPal link in the description. Every bit helps. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notifications bell to stay updated with all our latest audiobook chapters. We'll see you in the next one.